Okay, forget the crown you've seen 1,000 times. Forget the tiaras paraded at state dinners. The real stories, the ones history never wrote down, are hidden in the rare and little-known jewels Queen Elizabeth II kept locked away. Gifts from emperors, diamonds with missing origins, tiaras that disappeared for decades, only to resurface without explanation. Were they worn in secret? Hidden because of scandal? Today, we're unlocking the vault where the rarest, most elusive gems live. The Nizam of Hyderabad Necklace. The story begins in 1947. The world was recovering from war, love was in the air, and a young Princess Elizabeth had just announced her engagement to Prince Philip. The Nizam of Hyderabad, one of the wealthiest men on the planet at the time, wanted to send the princess a wedding present. But not just any present. He gave instructions to Cartier in London to allow the princess to choose whatever she wanted as a wedding gift. Elizabeth chose a few pieces. One of them was a necklace, which is made of platinum set with over 50 diamonds, and features a detachable floral pendant. While the necklace was a wedding gift, Queen Elizabeth wore it regularly throughout her reign, especially in her younger years. You'd spot it at official events, state dinners, and the occasional magazine cover. After remaining in her jewelry box for decades, the necklace reappeared on the Queen in the 2000s. Despite its opulence, the necklace never became as famous as some of the Queen's other pieces. In recent years, the necklace made a glittering comeback when Catherine, Princess of Wales, wore it to a state banquet. And let me tell you, she understood the assignment. With her grace and elegance, she gave the necklace a fresh, modern moment without overshadowing its history. Now let's turn the pages back even further in royal history, to a necklace that once adorned another young bride. Queen Alexandra's wedding necklace. Let's rewind to March 10th, 1863. A young Danish princess named Alexandra is marrying the future King Edward VII in one of the most anticipated weddings of the 19th century. To mark this regal union, the groom's mother, none other than Queen Victoria herself, gives her new daughter-in-law a necklace that would make even the most seasoned jewel collector gasp. Crafted in the classic Victorian garland style, the necklace is a bold display of elegance and wealth. We're talking about a waterfall of large cushion-cut diamonds interlaced with pear-shaped drops, all set in silver and gold. Queen Alexandra wore it with flair. Known for her fashion-forward taste, and famously hiding a scar on her neck with layers of chokers and pearls, Alexandra made this necklace part of her iconic look. Fast forward a few decades, and a few coronations, and this necklace found its way into the jewelry box of Queen Elizabeth II. Now, you might expect Her Majesty to wear such a historic piece during major state events. But nope. Queen Elizabeth II never wore this necklace in public. Not once. Was it too grand? Too heavy? The answer remains a royal mystery. Queen Elizabeth II was famously private about her jewels. She never shared her thoughts about which piece was her favorite. Though honestly, who wouldn't want to hear her opinion on that? In 2018, Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, now the Princess of Wales, wore this historic necklace at a state banquet honoring the King and Queen of the Netherlands. She paired it with Queen Mary's lover's knot tiara and Princess Diana's Collingwood pearl drop earrings, seamlessly blending pieces from different eras of the royal family's history. But if that necklace is all grace and mystery, the next jewel in line is bold, loud, and unforgettable. Queen Mary's Love Trophy Collar. Meet the rarely seen but truly unforgettable Love Trophy Collar, a piece born in the Edwardian era, dripping in diamonds and humming with history. The Love Trophy Collar wasn't actually created for Queen Elizabeth II. It originally belonged to her grandmother, Queen Mary, the royal family's ultimate magpie. She wasn't interested in delicate little trinkets. No, she wanted her jewels to declare things. Power. Queen Mary wore the collar frequently, often paired with equally dramatic tiaras and brooches. It was her signature look, stately, heavily ornamented, and guaranteed to silence any room. Crafted around 1901, this magnificent piece is a classic collar necklace that fits high and close to the neck, perfect for making an entrance without saying a word. The collar features 7 diamond-set panels, each adorned with symbols of love: a bow, quiver, and torch, encased in laurel wreaths and suspended from delicate ribbon ties. When Queen Mary passed in 1953, her jewelry, like most of her best pieces, was handed down to her granddaughter, Queen Elizabeth II. Now, here's the twist. Queen Elizabeth II didn't really wear the Love Trophy collar publicly. Ever. Not once. Why? Queen Elizabeth favored more elegant, streamlined jewelry that whispered royal status, rather than screamed it. Today, the Love Trophy collar is rarely seen outside of archival photographs or exhibition glass cases. But that's just one chapter in the crown's sparkling history. Now, let's take a peek at another gem with roots just as deep. The Kent Amethyst Parure. The Kent Amethysts are believed to have originally belonged to Princess Victoria of Saxe-Coburg-Saalfeld, mother of Queen Victoria. The suite is thought to be one of her favorite jewelry sets, probably because amethysts were wildly popular among aristocratic ladies during the Georgian and Victorian eras. When Queen Victoria inherited the suite, she held on to it, but never made it a centerpiece. It quietly passed down through the generations, eventually landing in the royal jewelry collection of Queen Elizabeth II. And what a set it is! The parure includes a glorious necklace featuring large, deep purple amethysts surrounded by intricate diamonds, a pair of drop earrings, a beautiful brooch, and a giant regal hair ornament. While Queen Elizabeth II wore the brooch fairly regularly, especially in her younger years, the full parure has rarely made a public appearance, unlike the legendary Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara or the diamond-studded imperial state crown. Now, you might be asking, if this set is so stunning, why don't we ever see it? Great question. Some believe their more subdued purple tone made them less suitable for state occasions, where diamonds and sapphires steal the show. Others speculate that the Queen simply had too many jewels. Yes, that's a real royal problem. And the Kent Amethysts were just never top of the list. Now that Queen Elizabeth II has passed, the fate of the Kent Amethysts lies with the next generation. Will Queen Camilla rock them at her next state dinner? We'll see. As one jewel fades into the background, another quietly commands attention. The Greville Ruby Necklace. Commissioned in 1907 by Dame Margaret Greville from Boucheron, this exquisite necklace features a delicate floral design adorned with large rubies and diamonds, culminating in a distinctive triangular shape with a prominent pear-shaped diamond pendant. When she passed away in 1942, she left a treasure trove of jewelry to Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. The Queen Mother never wore it publicly after inheriting it from Mrs. Greville. Instead, she chose to pass it directly to her daughter, Princess Elizabeth, as a wedding gift. Queen Elizabeth II wore the necklace on numerous occasions during the early years of her reign. The Greville Ruby Necklace then disappeared from public view for almost 2 decades, until appearing at the state opening of Parliament in 1983, when it again disappeared. 3 decades later, the Greville Ruby Necklace re-emerged in 2017, when Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge, now Princess of Wales, wore it during a state banquet honoring King Philippe and Queen Letizia of Spain. In April 2018, Queen Elizabeth II donned the necklace once more, complementing it with the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara and Queen Mary's ruby cluster earrings. As of now, the Greville Ruby Necklace remains part of the British Royal Collection. Still, while some jewels fade into the background, others emerge with unforgettable stories of their own. One such piece? The breathtaking City of London Fringe Necklace. The City of London Fringe Necklace. Let's rewind to 1947, just after World War II, when Britain was still recovering from the Blitz. Amidst the economic gloom, the nation needed a moment of joy, and what better distraction than a royal wedding? Then Princess Elizabeth was set to marry her dashing naval officer, Philip Mountbatten, and the gifts started pouring in. Among the standout offerings came a striking necklace by the City of London, including the Lord Mayor of London, the Governor of the Bank of England, and the Chairman of the London Stock Exchange. The necklace is actually a convertible. The piece is technically a fringe-style necklace, very on trend in the 1940s, which means it has a series of tapering diamond drops, delicately set to shimmer with every royal wave. Despite its sparkle and backstory, the City of London fringe necklace hasn't made many public appearances. The Queen wore it on a handful of formal occasions during her reign, often opting for it at events where subtle grandeur was more appropriate than a full-on diamond deluge. So where is it now? Like many of the Queen's lesser-known jewels, the City of London fringe necklace is believed to be in the royal vault at Buckingham Palace or Windsor Castle. No official word on whether it's been passed down or worn by younger royals, but here's hoping it gets its comeback moment. But royal sparkle doesn't stop there. Another standout piece with its own remarkable story? The Queen Mother's Aquamarine Art Deco brooch. Let's talk about a jewel with elegance, history, and a splash of pure royal glamour. The brooch was originally owned by Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother. It was presented to her by her husband, King George VI, right before World War II, when the world was holding its breath. It features a large rectangular aquamarine, flanked by smaller diamonds and step-cut aquamarines, all set in a platinum frame. This aquamarine brooch became one of the Queen Mother's favorites. She wore it to many events, often pinned perfectly to her shoulder like a cool splash of icy elegance. After the Queen Mother passed away in 2002, the brooch was inherited by Queen Elizabeth II. The Queen wore it only on rare occasions, each time surprising jewel watchers who'd long given up hope of seeing it again. Royal jewels may be dazzling, but sometimes it's the ones with heart that leave the strongest impression. The Flower Basket Brooch. Among the tiaras that have traveled through centuries and diamonds the size of your mortgage, there's a quiet little brooch that deserves its own spotlight. The Flower Basket Brooch. This cheerful little piece was a gift to Prince Elizabeth in 1948 after the birth of her first child, Charles. Yes, that Charles, the now king. It was given by her proud parents, King George VI and Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, marking not only the arrival of a future monarch, but also the start of Elizabeth's own journey into motherhood. Elizabeth wore this brooch for portraits taken with baby Charles, which adds a lovely visual chapter to the story. Over the years, the brooch made subtle but meaningful appearances, like when she was feeling particularly nostalgic or family-oriented. Now that we've sparkled our way through Queen Elizabeth II's secret stash, here's a question for you. If you had access to one of these rare royal gems, which would you wear to brunch? And while we may never unlock all the secrets behind these sparkling relics, one thing's clear. In her private vault, Her Majesty held more than just gems. She held stories the world is only beginning to discover. Curious for more? Our channel is filled with tales that shimmer in the shadows. Go ahead, treat yourself to another gem of a video.